Hello and welcome back to my podcast. This is Gray Space. I am Gray. This is my space. This is like episode 12 or 13, and it is the first episode of 2024. Guys, it's been a little bit. This podcast is on a little bit of a hiatus. If you have been watching my vlogs, I kind of just assume that people that listen to this podcast or watch the podcast just like know who I am. Like, I don't know how someone who doesn't know me just like stumbled upon this podcast. So you guys probably do know this, but the holiday season, I'm gonna explain anyway for the people that for some reason maybe don't know. Not judging, just I'm filling you in. Okay, you're catching up. The past few months, I'd say, really since, God, I'm trying to think. Life got really busy for quite a while. I'm trying to remember if it happened in November or if it was even back in October. But regardless, November and December were really busy for both me and my girlfriend. And we had, family stuff, we had health stuff, we had mental health stuff, we had holidays, we had travel. It was a lot. I had deadlines, she had deadlines. So what? Sorry, Casper wants to be the special guest for today's episode. But he's a little shy. What? You gotta come lay down. I think he wants me to, there's a ball on the bed. Casper has been real back into tennis balls. He kind of goes through phases with toys. Like whenever I first adopted him, he was super big on bones. He went through a real big stuffed animal phase where he just liked to gut them and shred them. But recently he's been on a big tennis ball kick because my apartment has like a big basket in our lobby for dogs to take, and so he takes one every time. There are tennis balls all over my house, and it's fine because actually one of our cats, Nobu, also likes tennis balls. Anyway, I just had to take a pause from making the podcast because of the busyness and my mental health and just the tiredness of it all. It was either, I had other stuff that I just needed to do first, or I wasn't home to do it, or when I did try to do it, I was so tired, or I had like done something else already, so I just wasn't like in the space. It just wasn't the time to pod, guys. Gotta be real. It just wasn't a podcasting era, but we're back into it. And I'm glad because I've been doing better, by the way. Excuse me. But I've also been working on getting myself through this kind of like transformation, right? I'm trying to become the best version of me in several different ways. And so I kind of thought that for the first episode of the new year, the first episode back to the pod, the first episode that I'm back into my regular swing of things, I thought we would go over my ins and outs of 2024. Because, listen, fuck the people sorry, that's a little aggressive, but fuck the people that make fun of like the whole concept of new year, new me. Because yes, I understand the cliche of a bunch of people setting unrealistic goals and then giving up on them within the first month of the year. I understand that happens every year, right? I don't really agree with the concept of like, I guess, judging someone for trying to push themselves into doing something or for setting a goal for themselves. And I think that this is something pretty common in like workout groups, workout communities, I guess, gym people, where, of course, gym memberships spike at the beginning of the year. And after the first few weeks, first few months, a lot of those people stop coming. I just don't really get, one, why it's your business, and two, why you care enough to like, I don't know, judge people for it or like to roll your eyes at the concept of new year, new me. I do understand if someone is trying to just completely change, like they're taking new me a little too literally and they're setting some unrealistic goals. Even then, I still don't think you should comment unless like you know that person personally and you're like, don't, hey, don't wear yourself thin, or maybe reevaluate if you need to, whatever. I don't know. I don't get it. What's the deal? What's the diss on people trying to better themselves? You know what I mean? Sure, not everyone lasts, like, not everyone is able to keep up with and maintain their goals, turn it into a routine that they actually stick to. But they tried, you know? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't get why people focus on the failure part of the, you know, the fall off that people experience after like the new year, new me wave. You know? I don't know. I don't know why I got into that little rant. Also, I do have my protein smoothie. I'm going to take a little sip. It's especially good today. I tried a different fruit today. I've used this fruit pack before. I've just, for a while, I've been doing a mix of like bananas and like berries, you know, like strawberry, blueberry, blackberry, raspberries with, you know, protein powder, oat milk, yada, yada. However, yesterday I freaking accidentally left my bag of frozen banana slices out on the counter after I made my shake, and they got all nasty. So this is a tropical fruit blend. So there's like pineapple, fuck all is in here. There's strawberries and peaches, which aren't tropical, even though it's called a tropical mix. But then there are pineapples and mangoes, and I added my protein powder. If you fucking cared about what is in my protein smoothie, before we get into the ins and outs of this year, I have made myself a list of ins and outs. Also, look at this. If you're only watching it, you can't see what I'm showing you. It's this like bookmark of a Siamese cat. My girlfriend Lexi got it for me at the French Market in New Orleans. She got herself one that's a cute little butterfly. Okay, so I have developed a list of some ins and outs. What am I in? What's in with me for 2024, and what am I trying to move on from? And I wanted to do this because I have, again, just already been on this like mission of maybe not bettering myself, because I don't know, maybe that doesn't imply that there's like a lot wrong with me. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. It's not that I think that I have like all these issues I need to solve. I just want to establish better relationships, better routines. I do want to be a better version of myself. I want to interact with the world around me in maybe a more positive way, maybe a less anxious. Oh my God, I thought that was my protein smoothie. It was my water bottle. That scared me. Anyway, I've been on a personal journey, and it lines up with the new year, new me, yada, yada, yada. I know I just rolled my eyes at that. It was a callback to my rant, okay? I wasn't rolling my eyes at the statement. It was a callback. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into my ins and my outs. The ins and outs, they don't like respond to each other, you know? Like, it's not like we're in with this and we're out with something else. Those don't necessarily correlate. Sometimes they do, but they don't have to, right? I'm gonna go between, I'm gonna do like one in and one out, or should I do all in, all out? I don't think it matters. I'll just start. So the first in that I have listed is establishing and sticking to more routines. I mean specifically like cleanliness routines, because I have noticed in the past few months that routine helps me manage myself and stay on top of things tremendously, which is ironic because of the mental illnesses I have that make establishing and sticking to routines very hard. So a long time to realize that like that was so beneficial for me. But I don't know if I actually told you guys this, but maybe you've just picked it up from vlogs, because if you've noticed, I drive my girlfriend to and from her job. That's because we've actually been sharing her car for the past few months, because we partially just are annoying and inseparable. So we like having that morning routine together where I take her to work, but also because my car's messed up. Haha, fun. Both of our cars are kind of messed up though. It's a little rough out here. Anyway, but since I started taking my girlfriend to work, it's made me start to get up with her in the mornings. And she's a teacher, so she has to, you know, be up, not a traditional 9 to 5, because she does have to get there earlier. So we wake up early. I used to not be a morning person at all. I used to be able to stay up late all the time. And I've recently gotten into a better routine because of kind of basing and building my routine off of my girlfriend's work schedule, admittedly. But it fucking works because I wake up in the morning without an alarm, and I wake up at like 5:30 in the morning. I'm able to get up, I get dressed, I take my dog out, I make coffee for me, I make tea for her. I'm able to do the stuff that like someone with a more traditional job would do, because I obviously do this for a living. So I don't have a boss or an office or a dress code, you know? So, and while I'm not complaining that I don't have those things, because I'm very grateful to not be restricted in any way for the most part, it takes away a lot of that natural structure that people get because half of their time is at work as their second place. And I don't have that. So I'm able to just stick to that routine better, and I've realized that it helps me a lot, actually, stay on top of my work and just kind of go through a more fulfilling day. So I want to kind of continue this work to establish routine, and I want to expand that more into cleanliness. I mean that both in terms of cleaning my apartment and personal hygiene, because I don't have like a hygiene issue. I bathe and I take care of myself, but admittedly, I'm not consistent with it. It depends a lot on my mental well-being. And so sometimes there are times where it's worse than others, but I want to get into the habit of making those things that are kind of just like normal things for people. Like, not everyone, you know, I'm not trying to say that like, oh, every neurotypical person is like better at, or is automatically, you know, good at something, and neurodivergent people are automatically bad at something. I'm not really trying to say that, but like, there are a lot of things that neurotypical people can just like do because they know how to just do it. Whereas I'm gonna have to set like 6 alarms on my phone to force myself into the routine, because if I could get sidetracked, I could get too tired, I could forget. So yeah, just doing like, stuff, stumbled over my freaking words there. So yeah, just doing stuff like, I want to set schedules for like different cleanings. Like, I want to work on staying on top of the apartment a lot more, and also doing some deep cleaning of it more. So I have already started that process a little bit. I don't think you can see all of my calendar back there, but I have had a schedule set for like, okay, on this Saturday of every month, we're gonna clean the microwave, we're gonna change the bedding, we're gonna do whatever. And I want to establish that for a bunch of different things. So that's cool. That's what I'm in with. I'm in with routine for 2024. And I'm in with this smoothie in my mouth, and then I'm gonna give you an out. Alrighty. In 2024, I personally am out with being affected by other people's opinions of me, especially if I don't value their opinion or know them. And I feel like that might be, especially that end part, I feel like that might be a given to some people. Like, yeah, obviously don't care about someone's opinion of you if you don't know them. It's just kind of hard for me to like do that, because anyone can just give their opinion of me at any and all time and say kind of whatever the fuck they want to me because of the internet. So I've had to work pretty hard on establishing better boundaries with how much of that I can read. I remember earlier on in my time, like on my, I guess in my internet career, that sounds a little weird, but having been on the internet for a living, I guess, for the past almost 3 years, I think, been through a lot of phases of how I feel about being notable on the internet. And so at the beginning, I've totally, guys, I've Googled myself. I have Googled myself many times. I cannot do that ever. In this current state, in this day and age, absolutely the fuck not will I ever Google myself again. Because why? Because you know what? My fucking ass, my mentally ill ass with self-esteem issues that I have been working on really hard and I've actually been getting better at, which is also why I'm trying to avoid this stuff, is because what's that gonna do for me? You know, because whenever I do, you know, sure, of course there are nice comments. To say that every single like comment is bad and yada yada, like that is a stretch. But the bad ones stick to you know? Because like what if I Google myself and I see something, I'm trying not to give specifics because I don't want to mention something about I don't want to mention a physical trait in a bad way, because I don't want it to be a situation like I had where I didn't even notice these things. And then some random fucking person just said, hey, why do you have that about yourself? That thing you were like born with? It's ugly. Oh, gee, the thing I never thought about or thought anything was wrong with until you said that. Thank you. Yeah, that feels good. So I am trying to unlearn that. I'm trying to, whenever I get insecure, break down like, okay, does this person's opinion fucking matter to me actually? Like at the end of the day? And should it? So yeah, I'm just trying to limit how much of other people's opinions, particularly about me, that I consume. But of course, it's kind of inevitable to see a comment about myself when I put myself on the internet for a living. So on top of that, I am trying to get rid of negative talk and build more assurance in myself, security in myself, so that when I do have to read those things or hear those things, I don't hone in on them, I guess, and be like, oh, this thing about me, I guess it is fucked up because these people are noticing it about me, you know? And fuck that, because like, who are you guys? What? It's me, it's my body, it's my face. What? Leave me alone. And nobody in my life has a problem with it, and I never had a problem with it, so I'm not gonna let you guys give me more problems. I have enough of them. So that's what we're out with in 2024, is giving a fuck about other people's opinions of you. And to be fair, I do want to add that that's not like for every single thing. I do mean that when it's needless criticism. I, of course, I'm not a perfect person. Why'd I do that? I'm not perfect, obvi-fucking-lessly. I don't know why I said it like that. But I don't mean that I'm just gonna block out like genuine criticisms of like, you know, maybe I messed something up in my work, or maybe someone just has a suggestion. That's not what I'm talking about, just so we're clear. But yeah. Next up, I'm excited for this one. In 2024, we are in with pushing our fashion comfort zones. Guys, I don't know if you've been checking out my Pinterest, because I've been Pinteresting a lot more recently. But I have kind of been, you can see it in there, my inspirations for the direction I want to take my wardrobe in. And I'm really excited. I've been getting more into clothing. Honestly, this is totally thanks to Lexi. I have a lot of different thoughts in my head about myself and different people I've been around and experiences I've had. And I'm not going to get all into that, but I will say that I've realized recently how much better I feel about myself and the people I'm around now that I'm around people who support me and are also secure in themselves. I guess like separate from me. I don't know if that makes any sense. I've surrounded myself with people that I respect, people that have traits that I admire, you know, particularly in their, I'm talking mostly about Lexi, but also, you know, a few of my close friends, how they just don't care as much as I do about everything. And I know I'm not trying to like beat down on myself about it, because like for the most part, it's not something I can control. I'm on meds. I'm, you know, getting used to my new meds, by the way. Kind of not going well, but that's a different story. Anyway, I've surrounded myself around the kind of people that I want to be more like. And so it makes me excited about these kind of changes. And so one of those things that I feel more comfortable exploring and pushing more is my fashion. So, and that's both in what I wear, and I also would like to dabble in a little bit of designing, a little bit of DIY, because we have like a hand sewing machine, but then we're also getting a sewing machine. Lexi bought Sage's old sewing machine, and we need to get it from her. We weren't supposed to get it, but we were hoping to get it whenever we saw Sage in New Orleans, but we could not because there was no room in Sage's car because she packed so many clothes to New Orleans. But yeah, that'll be super exciting. And that'll also be extra exciting because it ties into a project that we are starting getting the ball rolling on in terms of our apartment, in terms of our wardrobe, in terms of our storage. So I'm super excited about that. But yeah, I want to collect more like cool pieces. And I also want to get better. I want to like look more, I want to teach myself some more like fashion 101 type shit. And I just want to get better. It's always something I've been slightly interested in, but I haven't had the time or like the fuck it, you know, let's get into this thing, right? Because I've always had some other things I want to dabble in, whether it was pottery or crochet or video making or whatever it is. I've always had a little thing for fashion that I've never just like really dove into, I guess. And I want to try this year. So I'm excited for that. Next, kind of goes into the last point. In 2024, I am out with holding myself back. And this goes in part with an in that I'll read later. I think it's my last in. But this out and that in that I'll talk about later were inspired by a thing that Lexi told me about one of her friends, where she had a friend who just started to once or twice a week, I think, force herself to do something that made her really anxious and like uncomfortable, because she had really bad anxiety, specifically like public anxiety. And so she wanted to work on that. So she would just do one thing. She would force herself to do a thing that she, in her head, you know, when she thought about doing it before, would be like, no, I can't do that. That's embarrassing. So that stuck with me, and I was like, that's kind of cool. And I don't know if I could do it that well, right? Because I have a little bit of a long road. But I do think that for a while, in many aspects of my life, I've held myself back in different ways, whether it be in fashion or in speaking my mind or in, you know, holding myself back because I think I'm not capable of doing something, what have you. And so I just want to work slowly on breaking all that down. I really want to get into my I don't give a fuck energy. So that's what I'm working on. As long as I'm not hurting anyone, I don't give a fuck and leave me alone what you have to say about it, as long as I'm not hurting anyone and I'm having fun. And I look good doing it. That part is more about the fashion. But yeah. Ooh, next up in 2024, we are in with reading, because I actually was able to fit a little bit of reading into the last 2-ish months, maybe even only the last month of 2023. No, I think 2 months. I've read, so far, I've been able to read, Jeanette McCurdy's memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died. I started reading Britney Spears' book. I have read, I'm catching up on Chainsaw Man. because now the volumes are finally fucking being published or printed, you know, because I don't read manga online because I'm obnoxious and I like to have the physical copy, and also reading manga on my phone makes me not feel well for some reason. Anyway, I read the two most recently printed volumes of Chainsaw Man. That is good so far. I've been keeping up with it. That one and Jujutsu Kaisen, I keep up with, like, not to where I read it every week, but I kind of just spoil the current chapter for myself because I'm on anime Twitter, on, like, my secret Twitter account. So, like, I kind of read the Jujutsu Kaisen manga. I don't, but I absolutely know what the fuck's going on. And kind of the same thing with Chainsaw Man. But it's been good to actually get to read those and know some context that I've been missing. But yeah, I currently am reading Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. That's really good. I'm, I think, 75% through with that. And then I actually just bought myself a few more books recently for my birthday, because my birthday's on Tuesday. So I'm trying to think of which one I'm going to read next. I've been big on memoirs. I read Jeanette McCurdy's. I started Britney Spears's. I need to get back into that. I'm reading Michelle Zauner's. And in one of the books I bought for myself is Julia Fox's book. I really want to read it. I'm so very excited. I've been just like really into, maybe not telling my own stories, but storytelling in the sense that, like, I've just really been into listening to other people tell stories. So memoirs have been something I've been getting quite into, which I, for the longest time, didn't expect for myself because I used to hate nonfiction. Not hate it, but like I used to think it was boring in school, you know? But yeah, I want to set a goal for myself where I do 1 to 2 books a month, and I'm going to be posting about those. I don't know if I'm going to do, maybe I'll do like videos or like a podcast episode of like every book I read for this month or like the past few months or whatever. I might just do it on my Instagram. I really don't know, but I really would like to get back into reading because I used to love it as a kid. I used to get in trouble at school because I would sneak my books when I was supposed to be doing something else, and adult life kind of took that away, time and energy wise. So I'm trying to get myself back into it when I'm able. I'm enjoying it a lot so far. So trying to get in with reading for 2024. Next up, we are out with high screen time in 2024. And I do want to put a tiny asterisk next to that, because it's not just that I want to lower my screen time, but I think I would like to at least use my screen in better ways. I don't know if that makes sense. I do want to lower my screen time because there are definitely times where there's just like a lull and my immediate thought is to pull out my phone, and I really want to break away from that. But I also would like to do better things on my phone. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of like how to explain that, because I feel like that sounds like I'm doing shady shit. I'm not. I wake up every morning and the first thing I do is check my phone. And I scroll through whatever app and I see some bad news. And it's not that I'm like, ugh, keep that bad news away from me. I don't need to hear about that. But it's just like, I don't know. The internet definitely gives you access to way much more information than you should need at one time, all at once, you know? So I would like to limit my interaction with the internet, I guess, in different ways. I don't know. I would like to get into more creative spaces rather than like just social media or like commentary influencer spaces. Not being in those as in like me as a person, I'm like partying with influencers, but I mean like the content I interact with, if that makes sense. I don't know. I would like to lower my screen time for sure. I would like to at least replace some of my screen time with some in real life time, whether it be, you know, what if I didn't pick up my phone right now? What if I picked up that book I've been wanting to read? Or what if I ask, you know, my girlfriend if she wants a massage and tea, or like whatever it is. And I would also just like to navigate the internet in a overall more positive way for myself. So yeah. what time is it? It is 11:44. We have time. We have 2 more of each thing. So for the second to last in, I'm prioritizing creativity over productivity. And I feel like this is going to be something like noticeable in my work, because you can totally tell in the last quarter of 2023, especially on my main channel, when I was just getting so fucking burnt out and I was just having to like post these videos because I had a deadline. And I don't like that, like, that's work that I have to use to represent myself. You know, I want to post stuff that I enjoy posting. I want to enjoy stuff that I'm proud of. I want to post stuff knowing that I put work into it. And obviously I would like to see the reward for that, but I would just like, I would like my work to be elevated, you know? But on top of that, I also mean that outside of work. I mean that in just my general life. I would like to put creativity over productivity. And part of that is establishing a better work-life relationship, home-work relationship. I don't know if that's the best way to word that. And part of it is just like with my actual mentality around productivity and creativity, because I am having to unlearn, I guess, capitalistic values. I don't know, not to like preach to the choir about capitalism. I mean, like, how do I word this? I'm trying to unlearn equating my value as a person with how much I got done, and equating a good day with how much I got done, and putting getting tasks done over doing stuff I enjoy. I want to work on that. I would like to establish better balance and better boundaries there. Bouncing off of that, in 2024, I am out with letting work consume me, because it does, and I don't want it to. I don't like it at all. So I don't know if I need to expand on that one. So for my final in of 2024, we are in with learning to laugh things off and laugh at myself more. And that goes back into the thing with like holding myself back. I just focus so much on like people's perception of me, especially when we're in public, which is especially when it shouldn't matter. Like when I'm not doing anything problematic or harmful, right? A stranger seeing me in public and looking at me because my outfit's weird. If I like my outfit, I don't need to fucking care about that. And expanding that idea, I guess, because sometimes, yeah, as a human being, I do embarrassing things, you know? Sometimes I think a fart's gonna be quiet and it's not. And people at the coffee shop around me might have heard a little toot. Or maybe I took a wrong turn. Normally when stuff like that happens, I'm like, I need to leave this place and never come back because all these people think I'm a fucking crazy idiot. And girl, it's not that serious. It's not. Are those people gonna beat your ass? No. And I'm really trying to enforce that in myself and learn that, like, girl, people fart in public sometimes. People trip, right? Sometimes we wear uncomfortable shoes and we have a wardrobe malfunction. Lord forbid, right? I don't care about that in other people. I don't care about that in strangers when I see them in public. So why do I always assume that people care when I do it, you know? So I just kind of want to, like, let go of this, like, automatic embarrassment that I have, which is the perfect segue into the final out. Finally, I am out in 2024 with the fear of embarrassment, because it really is only embarrassing if you make it embarrassing. Like, it really is. And I catch myself, that's something that I'm not like 1000% perfect with, because sometimes I am like, it's embarrassing to stop in public and like take pictures in front of a wall because you think it's cute. But then I'm like, no, it's not actually. It's literally just not. It's not. Would I feel embarrassed if I was doing that and then a group of people were pointing and laughing? Yeah. But for one, those people are dicks. And for two, I don't know those people. So why should I care? They're just lame. They can't do what I do. They can't pose in front of a wall like me. I don't mean it in that kind of like egotistical sense, but yeah, I don't know. I really just want to focus my time and energy and passions into the energies that benefit me and the energies that are consistent in my life. You know, I need to stop caring so much about not necessarily everything, but about things I don't need to care about, that I just kind of burden myself with. Because, I don't know, curiosity killed the cat. Because I am influenced by other people's opinions of me. I don't want to be, so I'm going to try hard not to be. And those are my ins and my outs of 2024. So I am going to be trying to stick with those. And I know that this was a little bit of a shorter episode for a podcast. However, I do have somewhere I need to be. I have yoga in a little bit, but yeah, that was this podcast episode. Let me know what you guys' ins and outs are for this year. Something you want to try and achieve, something you want to let go of, what your overall goal or focus is this 2024. And let's keep each other updated. So yeah, thank you for listening. If you are just a listener on Spotify, go ahead and give it a 5-star rating if you want and share it to some friends or something. And if you're a watcher on the YouTube, then go ahead and give it a like if you liked it. Don't give it a like if you didn't like it, I guess. I don't know why you stayed till the end. Yeah, give a comment, give it a follow or a whatever. And I will see you in the next whatever thing I post. Bye.